Good day, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing great. Feeling groovy. Realizing, of course, that the government doesn't love you. And also realizing that pretty much everything you've been told since the day you were born is a lie. It is July the 14th of 2025, 12:12 p.m. Mr. Buzz coming to you from the communist shithole that is known as Ontario, Canada. And if you get anything out of this video, all I ask is please smash the like button for me so I can get these videos out to more people. When people hit that button, it seems to push the video out a lot better and more people get to see it. And when people don't hit that, it just sinks like a stone, as they say. So if you do enjoy the video, please smash that button for me. That's all I ask. It's free of charge and helps me out a lot. So I'm going to talk about the breaking of humanity here today. Now, I haven't read any of these books, but there's a whole bunch of books available on this topic. The breaking of humanity. If you Google books about the breaking of humanity, it will say there are many books about the breaking of humanity, and it starts listing them off and telling you a little bit about each one. There are a bunch. So, the breaking of humanity, what does that mean? Well, we're going to compare this to the way animals are trained, okay? And I'm using that comparison for a reason, because this is how the elites look at us. They actually look at us like bugs, which is even, in their mind, lower than animals. They probably put animals above us. They look at us like we're bugs, but they attempt, anyway, to train us the way people train animals. You've heard of people trying to tame a wild animal, right? Well, they have to break it. That's the very first thing. They have to break its will. Even a dog that you get, if people want to really train their dogs strictly, they will break that dog. So what does that mean? Well, it basically means to break its will of independence, its will to stand up for itself, its will to fight back against you. Once you fully break a creature, and humans are included in this, that creature, that being, will accept its servitude. It will become submissive and not fight back anymore, not stand up for its own sovereignty, its own independence. That's what you're trying to do when you break any kind of being, an animal, a person, whatever. And this is the period we're in right now. This, to the elites, is known as the breaking of humanity. That's how they refer to it in their literature. I'm sure in their meetings when they're sitting around discussing what the next move is. The breaking of humanity, that term probably comes up every meeting, I would guess, because it is in a ton of books, okay? So I went through the summaries of a lot of the books. There was one in particular, I don't remember the name of it, but there was one in particular that really stood out. It was a book about dream hacking, how dream hacking technology was going to be used on us as part of the breaking of humanity, okay? Because dreams really affect you in a big way. You wake up from a really intense dream, you can't get that out of your mind for days sometimes, right? So that was part of the plot of this book. And just terrorizing us in several ways, like bringing in immigrants who, the worst of immigrants too, not good people from other countries, but the criminals, the people from, empty out jails and mental institutions and people that are really violent and dangerous. Bring them in and then treat them like gold compared to everybody else, so it's right in your face. There's few things that are more troubling than that. People in the UK, any viewers from the UK, you can relate to what I'm saying, because you're experiencing that right now. Two-tier Keir is looking after his immigrant buddies, right? He's not looking after you. He's looking after his immigrant friends. Well, they're not really even his friends. He hates them too, believe me. He hates everybody that isn't in the club. It's a big club and you ain't in it. Don't forget that. That is totally true. They don't have to worry about the breaking of humanity because they're in the club. It's only you and me and people like us who have to worry about this. So they're going to terrorize us in many ways. They're going to bring extreme economic hardship on us. This is described in these books. There's all kinds of novels. Look them up. The topic is the breaking of humanity, and you will find a ton of literature on this topic. Extreme economic hardship, famine, starvation, civil war, pitting one group against another. That's happening. Left and right, Muslims, Christians. In Spain, as of a day or two ago, it erupted in Spain. The Muslims are running around armed, terrorizing people. One old guy, they beat him to a pulp. It's awful. It's truly awful. Now the Christians are standing up and fighting back. They have to. I mean, they're going to get steamrolled if they don't. It's going to spread all over the place. And it's like Mr. Burns, right, on The Simpsons. He does this. That's what they're doing. They're loving every minute of it. They're watching and loving every minute of it. Sometimes when you see drones flying around, there's cameras on those drones. That's them watching you. That's them watching all the goings on. If you got a riot going on in your city, you'll see some drones. That's for their entertainment. Okay, they're enjoying the shit out of this. This is what they've been waiting for. They love every minute of it. Don't you think they don't? You have to understand what's really happening and understand the breaking of humanity. You have to understand how immature, childish, and purely evil these people are. They speak of making the world a better place, more equitable place, and ending poverty, and blah, 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 blah. They go on about all this stuff. Let me put it to you this way. If an elite says something about, I'm going to cut poverty in half, well, that might mean I'm going to take half of all the poor people and kill them. That you literally cut poverty in half, didn't you? You got rid of half the poor people by killing them. It doesn't mean you did anything good. It just means you killed a bunch of people. This is the way they speak. I'm going to make it a more equitable world. Well, that might mean taking all the wealth that people haven't worked hard for, have worked for maybe generations through their family to accumulate. I'm going to take all that wealth and spread it among all the other people. And everybody balances out in the end. So it's not good for the people who worked hard, is it? It's great for the people who didn't do shit and they're just criminals and lazy and whatever. Okay, that's great for them. They move up, everyone else moves down. You have to be careful what you listen to when they say these things. They do not mean anything good for you in your life. I promise you. I promise you. They're talking about good things for themselves, more control over you, more control over everybody, because that's what this is all about. They're going to do very vile things and break humanity, like a horse. You break a horse, right? That's the first part of the process, is to break that horse. And unless you can break it, you can't use it as a racehorse or whatever it is you're trying to use it as. You got to break them first. It's what they're doing to us, folks. It's what they're doing to us. The movie A Bug's Life. Well, that was symbolic of us, okay? We're the bugs. We're the bugs. That's why they used bugs in that movie. That's exactly what it's meant to symbolize, is us, because they think of us as bugs. Don't for 1 second think it's any different. It's always been that way. They literally feel that they are completely superior to us, And we are like a horse that they want to break right now. There's another aspect of this. They're going to steal everybody's land, and they're going to do it under the premise of it's native land. That's why they're doing these land acknowledgements here in Canada. They're doing them elsewhere too, but Canada's a real big place for this. A lot of people are like, why are they going on about these land acknowledgements all the time? I mean, they even put somebody in jail because he refused to do one. They charged him with some sort of crime. Read Brave New World. In Brave New World, if you want to see the old world, you have to go visit the native reservations. They're not even reservations anymore. They've given all the land back to them, okay, that everyone else used to live on. They've taken it from the people who owned it. So, no, it's actually native land. We're going to give it back to them. That's what they're going to do. I promise you. I promise you. 100%. That's why every time anybody does anything here in Canada, at first we want to acknowledge that this is on the land of blah, 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 and they start talking about how it's actually native land. Over and over and over. I've heard this a million times here in Canada. This is why. They plan on giving all the land back to the natives, taking it from people who have bought and paid for it. They don't care about that. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't some shady stuff done to the natives. Of course there was. But it's too late to do that now. If you're going to be just and proper, it's much too late to do anything about it. It's way in the past. It happened. Now you're stealing it from other people. You're doing the same thing again. It's already been stolen. Now you're going to steal it again. People that own this land bought and paid for it. They've paid for it. It's theirs. They have title deeds to it. They don't care. They're going to take it from the average person, bulldoze the house, whatever, and just give it back to the natives. That is in the plans. This is also part of the breaking of humanity. So I unfortunately don't have good news today. This is the time period we're in. It's part of end times. The breaking of humanity. And like I say, if you want to understand what that means, look up how they break horses, or break dogs, or break any wild animal they're trying to tame. They're trying to make it submissive, give up its independence, its sovereignty, and its will, and leave it in a completely submissive state that they can control any way they want. That's how they think of you and me and everyone else who isn't in the club. It's a big club, remember, and you ain't in it. But there's one club we can all be a part of, the one that follows Jesus Christ, because he is the way, the truth, and the life.